Hello and welcome back to my legendary walkthrough for Halo 5 Guardians. In the last episode, we completed the 7th mission of the game, which was Reunion, and today we will be completing the 8th mission, Swords of Sanghelios.
You loading up, Commander?
We're gonna see if Halsey can learn to speak Guardian.
I'll have a briefing for you by the time we reach Sanghelios.
See you planetside.
So, you wrote a target dossier on the Arbiter when you wrote Tony.
That was 6 years ago. What's your point?
You recommended assassinating him.
After we killed millions of our people,
So why didn't you?
things changed.
The Arbiter is engaged in combat. We will escort you to him.
Locke. Planet's deep in civil war. If this all goes sideways...
I understand, sir. It's not my first mission that doesn't exist.
Good luck, Spartan.
Arbiter has united the keeps and formed a new alliance, the Swords of Sanghelios. With Arbiter's victories and the death of Jewel Mdama, the Covenant remnants grow desperate. They have begun an assault on Vadam lands, targeting Arbiter specifically.
And Arbiter's location?
You will find Arbiter at the Elder Council chambers. Victory to clan and kin, Spartans. Maquis out.
What are those buildings over there? Sunayon. That's where the Guardian is located. Gonna need serious backup to get anywhere near it.
We need the Swords of Sanghelios. And that means we need Arbiter.
I'm impressed. Arbiter has females in his ranks. War has traditionally been a male's job on Sanghelios. Covenant forces ahead.
As always, switch to your Magnum to conserve ammo for the battle rifle.
Spirit inbound.
What's nice of them to send a welcome wagon?
Let the guns talk, Osiris.
Then turn your attention to the pack of grunts that flanks you on your right and swap out your Magnum for the storm rifle that the Jackal dropped. Now, for as tempting as it is to deal with the elite right now, it's much safer for you to take out all of his subordinates with the battle rifle before going down to engage him. Use the natural slant in this rock as cover and pop in and out to headshot everything you can.
We're almost clear. Keep moving.
Then, once it's just the elite left standing, you can head down to the battlefield and use the same shield stripping tactic you've been using to take him down. Storm rifle for the shields, battle rifle for the finishing headshot. There's a group of jackals waiting at the top of the steps that's easily susceptible to a frag grenade, and from there you can just mob up anything else that survived.
Watch the turret.
Could try to flank it.
Before doing what Tanaka says, try to pick off some of the grunts from up here. Use these ammo crates as cover, stay low to the ground so the turret can't tear you to shreds, and headshot as many grunts as you want. When you're ready to start the attack, turn and heal and order your team over to the left side of the area for a flank. Use the Storm Rifle Battle Rifle combo to get the lead off the turret. And since you need to fire from range, because if going up close and personal would be suicidal, you want to fire the Storm Rifle in short controlled bursts to reduce recoil and prevent the weapon from overheating. Then make a break across the area and clamber up this cliff to grab the turret for yourself. Quickly detach it from its base and carry it over to the place you came in from for cover. You will likely go down while transporting the turret, but you should also be able to get the turret to a safe place before that happens, and from there your teammates can pick you up. As for what's happening on my screen right now, this is not the game, this is not your internet connection, this is my capture card deciding to freak out. From here you want to use the plasma cannon you grabbed to take out the enemy shade turret from range. Pop in and out of cover and jump up and down so it's harder for them to get a shot off, all while you fire the turret in this direction. You don't have to worry about it overheating, all you have to worry about is running out of battery power. But regardless, this single plasma cannon should be all that you need to clear the turret. If it's not, you can grab a plasma pistol from the dispenser nearby and overcharge the EMP shot to first disable the turret, and then from there you can continually shoot at anybody that gets in the turret. As in, a grunt gets in, you disable the turret and kill the grunt, another grunt gets in, rinse and repeat. When the turret goes down, assuming you still have battery left in your plasma cannon, you can use it to clear the rest of the area. If it runs out of battery, the Storm Rifle and Battle Rifle will both do the job just fine.
Bodies ahead. Swords of Sanghelios.
Now, your weapons will probably both be running low on ammo by this point, so grab a fresh Storm Rifle out of the dispenser, and then go all the way back to the first area to swap out your Battle Rifle for the Covenant Carbine that the Jackal dropped.
A warrior at birth, a warrior in death.
Arbiter's an ally, so these dead here are our brothers as far as I'm concerned.
Agreed. Time for payback.
Armor failure!
Up and at 'em, Locke.
Thanks, Spartan.
Then, once your loadout is set, you can move to the next area.
Snipers on that ridge ahead.
Stick to cover till we get them in range.
The cabin opens up here. Keep your eyes up.
Well, that was a nice little welcome wagon for this section. There are going to be 3 Jackal snipers in this area. The first one is up on that ledge toward the right side of the area.
Sniper, on that ridge ahead.
Stick to cover till we get them in range.
The second one will be up on a slanted ledge up and to the left, and the last one's hanging out near the illuminated rocks toward the back of the area. After they're down, a group of grunts will leap up to the rock just below you, so headshot them all before they can get any shots off. Order one of your teammates to pick up the beam rifle just in case.
I've been looking for one of these.
First things first, you're going to want to take out the group of jackals over here on the right. You can try to use the top of the rock as cover and try to headshot them, but you have a lot more range of motion and angles down on the ground. I like to stick by the corner of this rock and take aim at the jackals from here. Now the elite might get a little aggressive and start to hunt you down, but in that case you can just use the storm rifle / carbine combo against them. The nice thing about the carbine is that you don't have to worry too much about ammo consumption because there are refill pods all throughout the level. After you clear out that initial wave, head up on top of these rocks to the left. Now there's one more elite in the area that you need to take out, and being up on top of these rocks should give you a fairly good vantage point from which to use the storm rifle carbine combo. Or if you're feeling lazy, you can just spam the carbine until they die since there's a refill pod up here. And if you're lucky, the elite may even jump up here to meet you and make using the combo against him even easier. Either way, after the 2 elites and a group of jackals are down, your next biggest problem is that plasma cannon. While you're still up here, you can try to shoot as many jackals as you can with the carbine, but if you feel like you're under too much fire from the turret, you can always hop down and take the battle to the ground. I also recommend placing a target on the turret so your teammates know where to concentrate their fire. This drop pod serves as a great use of cover for you to use the storm rifle carbine combo against the elite on the turret. And in this particular situation, the stakes are a bit higher because I need to take out that elite quickly in order to save Buck. Rescue mission successful. Before you move up, make sure to refill on carbine ammo, then pull the plasma cannon off the stand and carry it with you. Stick to the left side of the area and use the plasma cannon to take out everything. Remember, you don't need to worry about the turret overheating anymore because it's off of its stand, so now you can just hold down the right trigger infinitely. The only additional advice that I have for this part is that you can't just run down the middle of the battlefield and spray everything down. You gotta stick to cover. Once it gets down to 1 elite or a couple jackals, you can start to play a little more aggressively, but in general, you don't want to leave cover.
That's it, Locke.
I'm up. Thanks. You're all right without that. Move up.
Solid copy. Copy that, Locke. Look at them scatter. Have location.
If your turret runs out of battery, well, at that point you should have taken out enough enemies to make mopping them up with the storm rifle and carbine easy. Refill on carbine ammo before proceeding.
Everybody see that jackal?
No, I didn't see anything. Well, now I do. Take out the jackal sniper you'll find up here. He won't always snipe you on your way through the tunnel, but even if he doesn't, you should still take him out now.
Thanks, Spartan.
Fire from that overhang.
I recommend grabbing a fresh storm rifle as well.
Threat eliminated.
We got a phantom!
And
I'm
engage.
down. Need help.
Up you go, Locke.
I'm up. Thanks.
One more jackal sniper awaits you toward the top right of the area, but once he's down, you won't have any more snipers to worry about for the rest of the mission. So now you can just make a beeline for the cave on the right side of the arena and break down the wall to get inside.
Split up, Osiris.
Yeah, how about we don't split up? If you're feeling risky, you can Spartan charge this jackal before he knows what hit him. But if you do, then you better keep an eye on your motion tracker. As soon as you see a red dot charging towards you, start backing up towards the entrance of the cave because that's the sign of a sword-wielding elite ready to slice you in half. Quickly use the storm rifle carbine combo as you back up to take him down before he kills you or any of your teammates. Then move toward the edge of this cave and use the carbine to headshot the grunts and jackals and the storm rifle carbine combo against the elites. Also make sure to grab the 2 plasma grenades from the dispensary if you don't already have them. Then, once the initial set of enemies is down, you can feel free to hop out of the cave, refill your carbine ammo, and take up a position behind this pillar to start shooting at the enemies on the other side of the area.
I'm down. Need an assist. System down.
That's it, Locke.
Thanks, Spartan.
Enemy near the ammo cap.
You probably won't be able to kill a whole lot of them because they're so far away, but shoot what you can while you're there.
Overheated. Cooling.
I'm down! Help!
Up you go, Locke.
Uh-oh. Looks like I've got a teammate to save before anything else.
You're back in it, Buck.
If it seems like long-range firing isn't working out for you, then you can begin a push up the right side. When you move up to a certain point, drop pods will fall out of the sky. Ready a plasma grenade and stick the elite with it as he jumps out of the pod. Then move up just a little bit further using the edge of this cliff and then drop pod for cover. Then take out the rest of the surrounding enemies with carbine headshots and the storm rifle carbine combo.
Targeting hostile.
I got way too careless here, so you'll definitely want to stick back behind cover. Also make sure to pick up another nearby plasma grenade that a grunt drops so you can restore your total to 2.
Taking fire from the stairs.
There are also going to be 2 sword wielding elites, and I recommend trying to stick one of them with one of your plasma grenades. Once those 2 are down, fall back a little bit and stick the elite on the turret with your second plasma grenade. That won't be enough to kill him, it will only strip his shield, so be sure to shoot him with your carbine to finish the job. Grab a fresh storm rifle if you can find one and start advancing towards the nearby elite. This one can move around a lot, so he may not be over here when you play, but wherever he is, just make sure you stick to cover. And it's just one elite. At this point, you know the drill for combos. But we're still not done with this battle, because there's one more elite, and this one has a fuel rod cannon. And for as counterintuitive as it may seem, the best way to deal with him is to swap out your storm rifle for an energy sword, switch to your frag grenades, and charge his position.
I'm at the top of the ridge. There's an exit up here.
Spartans, yes. That is the path you seek. Keep moving.
Let your shields recharge, and then either finish off the jackals with the energy sword, frag grenades, or carbine headshots. You can take your pick. Just note that the sword strategy is obviously the most dangerous.
Systems down! No worries, Locke. I got you. Thanks, Spartan.
Going now. See the platform? Enemy position there.
I'm grounded.
It's okay, Locke.
I'm up. Thanks.
Clear. The Covenant are talking like they've already got the Arbiter beat.
If we lose the Arbiter, reaching the Guardian at Sunayon gets complicated.
Now I'm just going to very quickly mop up the enemies on the opposite side of the area, but this battle is completely optional, so feel free to skip it if you want. But don't move on until you set up your team's next loadout, and I'll go over that after this encounter. If you choose to fight this, just headshot everything with the carbine. I recommend you do fight this, however, because clearing out this area will give you easy access to a fresh storm rifle and carbine ammo, as well as plasma grenades, all of which will be helpful for the next encounter.
These are pre-Covenant Sangheli ruins. They were already ancient history before humanity built the pyramids.
If you haven't already, order one of your teammates to pick up the fuel rod cannon, and make sure it's not the one who's carrying the beam rifle. Use the same trick that we've been using of pointing at a weapon and then picking it up to force your teammates to hold up their power weapons, then proceed into the next area.
Consider it done, Locke.
Ammo up, Osiris. Covenant flying in.
Act casual. Maybe they won't notice us.
Cubbies seem convinced they can win this thing.
If they kill the Arbiter, they'll be well on their way.
That building's taking a beating. That's the Elder Council chamber. Marquis said the Arbiter was there.
Enter this temple from the right side and assassinate the grunt you'll find there. Then switch to your carbine and shoot the other 2 grunts across the way. Proceed over to that side of the temple and assassinate the final grunt who will be standing towards the ledge. You'll also find an elite out on this ledge, but it won't take anything more than the storm rifle carbine combo to take him down. Then move outside and headshot all the jackals and grunts from range. If any jackals rush your position, just melee them. The only real threats in this area are the suicide grunts if they rush your position, and the elite. If the grunts rush you, try to headshot them before they blow you up. When you see the elite, mark him for your teammates and try to strip his shield with the storm rifle so your teammates can finish him off. But above all else, do not let a single teammate die before the hunters arrive.
I'm coming to you now.
Got it, Maki. Spartans, clear the shipmaster a landing zone.
Spirit inbound.
Put their survival above all else, and if even a single one dies, revert to a checkpoint. Now, ordinarily I would have had more time to do this, but before the hunters arrive, you need to make sure your 3rd teammate picks up the fuel rod cannon down here. Then, keep them safe down here while you clamber up to the ledge to figure out where the hunters are.
On my mark.
Got it.
Pick up that weapon.
Copy.
Someone take that weapon. Take this, Spartan.
Copy that, Locke.
Once you see them, mark them and retreat back to where your team is, and if the 2 with fuel rod cannons aren't holding them out, quickly fix that. Once Osiris is ready, split up. You need to either distract the hunters so your teammates can blast their backs with the fuel rod cannons, or let them distract the hunters so you can stick them in the back with a plasma grenade.
Priority target. Take that target down.
Waiting for your all clear signal, Spartan Locke.
Working on it, Maki.
You will likely alternate between these 2 during the entire battle, but so long as somebody is doing damage to the hunter's backside, you are good to go.
My armor stalled.
Thank me later.
I'm up. Thanks.
You got it. Race over, Tanaka.
In this situation, I ended up distracting the hunters while my teammates shot them down in a matter of seconds.
Get fire on that hunter. Armor failure. All clear.
I am approaching your position. Hold your fire.
Check your fire. Friendly incoming.
Your commander Palmer thought you would find these useful.
I do like the way she thinks.
Covenant reinforcements move on the Elder Council chamber. Time is running low, Spartans.
We'll clear a path to the Arbiter. Just be ready for extraction.
I shall await your signal.
Mount up, Osiris.
Clamber up here to refill your carbine ammo, then climb aboard the Mantis.
Take the Mantis.
The Mantis has 2 primary modes of fire, machine gun and missiles.
On me, Osiris.
Press and hold the right trigger to spray your machine gun like you would the assault rifle or the saw. Missiles are controlled with the left trigger and can either be fired individually by tapping the left trigger, or all at once by holding it down to charge them and then releasing to fire. Notice that after you fire all 4 missiles, regardless of the method you used, they will take around 7 seconds to recharge. Once you understand how to attack with the Mantis, there aren't any other tactics you need to know for this section. Just remember that you aren't invincible and it is entirely possible for you to explode, so sticking to cover is still absolutely necessary, especially when heading into the next section. Beyond that, just have fun with the Mantis.
Clear the area from enemies, Osiris.
We cleared him.
The council chamber is on the other side of the courtyard.
Use your missiles on the grunts as soon as you step outside of the temple, and then use your machine gun on whatever survives. Then fall back inside for cover and keep shooting things out from a distance.
Spartans, the Elder Council chambers are on the far side of that courtyard. Hurry! We have lost contact with Arbiter's forces within.
Copy that. Let's get the Arbiter out of there.
Once it's safe to leave the temple, move out and down the stairs along the right side. Your next big target is going to be the Wraith on top of that platform over there, and the best way to deal with it is going to be to keep charging up missile attacks and unleashing them on the Wraith. Also, I don't know who's controlling that other Mantis, but they almost just got themselves killed. After that, the next biggest target will be the 2 hunters directly underneath the Wraith. Take out the jackals on the ramp leading below the platform, and then turn your attention to the enemies across the way on the right side. Take them out with missiles just to make dealing with the hunters easier. Then order your team further up the ramp because they have almost suicidal tendencies when they're driving a Wraith and fighting hunters, and we want to keep them alive. To defeat the hunters, simply repeatedly charge our missile attacks until they both fall down.
Incoming! Right side!
Then move out onto the sledge and drop off into the area below to start attacking grunts. Use a combination of machine gun and missiles to take them down, and also make sure to keep strafing back and forth to make it harder for the aerial strike to destroy your mantis.
Solid copy.
Spartans, Arbiter's forces are losing this fight. How much longer until you reach the chambers?
We're working on it, Maki. I'll notify you when we're ready for extraction.
Once the grunts are cleared out, your next biggest targets will be the ghosts roaming the area and the turret across the way. If you have eyes on the ghosts, shoot them down before they cause you any problems. But if you don't see them anywhere nearby, just focus on the turret. Both targets are most easily dispatched by charging up your missile attacks. The last major threat preventing you from pushing all the way up the right side of the area is going to be the elite armed with a fuel rod cannon. Missiles and machine guns will take him down no problem. After he's down, there are just a couple jackals behind him that you'll want to shoot down before proceeding. Now for the second Wraith battle. The best way to handle this is by popping in and out of cover and repeatedly charging up missile attacks. Tedious? Yeah, a little. But effective? Absolutely.
Doors opening.
So, at this point, if you wanted to, you could hop out of the Mantis and make a beeline for the inside of the cave. But apart from abandoning your teammates and leaving enemies behind, there are some weapons up on the left side of the area that we want to get our hands on before leaving. So, trust me, you'll want to tough it out just a little bit longer before proceeding. Okay, so rather than facing the enemies on the left side of the area head-on, you're going to want to loop back around under the platform where you previously fought the hunters and attack from behind. It's not even so much that this is catching them by surprise or anything, there's just a lot more cover and much better angles to shoot enemies from on this side than there are over there. So from under the platform, charge your missile attacks against the turret on the balcony above, as well as any other enemies that happen to get in your way. Now, ordinarily, I'd recommend that you use missiles to deal with the hunters, but looks like Buck has things under control. Anyway, when the area is clear, hop out of the Mantis and... well, so much for using that Mantis when we cleared out the balconies.
Eyes on that elite.
If that elite is still alive, try to sneak up behind him and assassinate him. If that doesn't work out, plasma grenade sticks are always a valid option. And should worse come to worse, you always have the storm rifle carbine combo. Just make sure you save 2 plasma grenades for the next encounter. And if you don't have any, you can always find more in the upcoming temple. Once you get to the top, order whichever teammate wasn't previously holding a fuel rod cannon to pick one up. Now all the enemies in this first wave are grunts and jackals, so just headshot them all with the carbine. When you reach the elite, you'll notice there isn't a whole lot of cover nearby, so just strafe back and forth and use the storm rifle carbine combo to take him down. Then refill your carbine ammo and start headed back toward the ramp, picking up a fresh storm rifle along the way. Rather than going back toward the entrance to the temple, clamber your way up here and you'll find another fuel rod cannon. If any of your allies lost one of their weapons along the way, this is a good spot for them to replenish it.
Swapping out weapons.
The elites used to call Chief the Demon, but Arbiter worked with him. Helped Chief win the war even.
War has a habit of making strange allies.
So ordinarily we get back on our Mantis, but that plan kinda went down the drain, so instead we're going to use the Wraith that our team was using earlier. Hop in the driver's seat and let someone hop in the plasma turret for support, then proceed into the temple. I don't have much to say here aside from don't rush ahead, keep your distance, and shoot down everything with the plasma mortar.
Stand by, Marquis. We'll get to the Arbiter soon.
Standing by.
We're almost there. Hurry.
If there is one sword of Sanghelios left, it's the Arbiter.
When the temple is clear, hop out of the Wraith and order your team toward the entrance so there's no chance of them moving ahead and spawning in the next set of enemies.
Coming up on the council chamber. Get in there, now!
Once they're as far away as possible, clamber up to this ledge and stick the turret with 2 plasma grenades. Throw one, wait for it to detonate, then throw the second. If you don't have any, you can always find 2 in the dispenser you saw as you were climbing up here. Once the turret is completely destroyed, drop back down to the ledge below and climb back in the Wraith. Make sure 2 of your teammates are in Ghost and the 3rd is in your plasma turret. Well, it seems like Vale is having some problems walking around the Ghost. Don't leave until every one of your teammates is in a vehicle. I don't know why I moved up while Vale was still running into Tanaka's Ghost. To start off, shoot a plasma mortar at this group of grunts just outside the temple. Well, look who finally caught up to my Wraith. When the grunts are down, proceed forward to begin the final battle of the mission. As soon as the pods fall, immediately retreat further into the temple and order your teammates behind you. Use the wreckage to your left as cover and pop in and out to shoot down enemies from a distance. Neither the Ghost nor the Wraith are anywhere near strong enough to survive out on the battlefield when the pods first drop, so just stay in here for the first couple of enemies. Once all the groups retreat to their posts, you can start to slowly inch out and get a tiny bit more aggressive than normal.
Get me in close. Taking hits. We gotta move. Grenade incoming.
trapped inside. We should hurry.
After the first wave is cleared, your next target will be the group on the right side of the area. But listen carefully. Shoot them down from a distance, because once you move past a certain point, 2 elites with fuel rod cannons drop from the sky, and you need to be ready for them when they come. So, deal with the right side first, then once they're down, move up just a little bit and shoot the elite farthest away from you first, followed by the one closest to you. Do not stay still as you do this, otherwise the fuel rod cannons will kill you. Once you take out those 2, look around the area and mop up anything that survived.
Area looks clear from here.
Marquis, we've reached the council chambers.
Understood. On my way.
Kaidon! Soru! Keisuta!
When the area is clear, drive the Wraith into the temple and shoot down any Covenant you can see in front of you.
Taking jackal fire. Wraith gunner is taking
Push forward, Osiris.
cover.
Then, when it's safe to do so, hop out of the Wraith and begin a push up either side of the temple. With the amount of supporting fire you have, it shouldn't take anything more than a few headshots to clear the
Almost
area.
there, Marquis. Get ready.
I am on my way.
Swords of Sanghelios will be victorious. Come close, traitor, and see how a true Sanghelios fights.
Then, meet the Arbiter at the top of the steps to end the mission.
For Sanghelios!
Eyes on goal. Arbiter! Ready for extraction.
Spartans, what is the meaning of it?